Just a short time ago, the president was asked about a potential treason investigation into former FBI officials.
Are you ordering a treason investigation into James Comey and McCabe? So we want to be very transparent. So as you know, I declassified everything they want. I put it under the auspices of the Attorney General. They'll be able to see how this how the hoax or witch hunt started and why it started. It was an attempted coup or an attempted takedown of the President of the United States. It should never, ever happen to anybody else. You're going to learn a lot. I hope it's going to be nice, but perhaps it won't be.
Attempted coup, an attempted takedown of the President of the United States. That language is loaded, and the question was prompted, by the way, by this exchange on Thursday when NBC's Peter Alexander tried to drive home the potential penalty for treason.
Sir, the Constitution says treason is punishable by death. You've accused your adversaries of treason. Who specifically are you accusing of treason?
Well, I think a number of people, and I think what you look is that they have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person. If you look at Comey, if you look at McCabe, if you look at probably people higher than that, if you look at Strzok, if you look at his lover, Lisa Page, they want an insurance policy so that should she, for any reason, lose, remember, 100 million to 1. Maybe he said 100 million to nothing. But should she lose, we'll have an insurance policy and we'll get this guy out of office. And that's what they said, and that's what they meant. That's treason. That's treason.
Let's take a look at what treason actually is and how it's punished. The crime itself is laid out in the Constitution's Article 3, Section 3, which says treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. As Peter noted, under the U.S. Criminal Code, a person convicted of treason faces anywhere between 5 years in prison to the death penalty, a potential $10,000 fine, and would be disqualified from holding public office. Now, back in the 1950s, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg passed atomic bomb secrets to the Soviets. They were convicted on espionage charges and they were executed in 1953. This charge is important because they were not convicted of treason because treason is only aid to an enemy. And though they were an adversary, the Soviet Union was not considered an enemy. In this century, John Walker Lind joined the Taliban in early 2001. He was captured and convicted of providing material support to terror groups, among other charges. He served 17 years before his release just on Thursday, but he too was not convicted of treason, partially due to the burden of proof in proving such a charge. Joining me now is NBC News' Justice and National Security correspondent Julia Ainsley. Julia, the president continually accuses these former national security officials of treason. It becomes pretty clear that he considers them to have slighted him. He doesn't like what they did. He's personally offended by them. But I guess the question becomes, do the people who would charge them with treason take the president seriously on this?
No. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. No, because they know the definition of treason. Allie, you just read that. It is war or providing aid and comfort to our enemies. It's very hard to see who would be our enemy in this context. And so what the president is confusing is loyalty toward him versus loyalty to our country. And while we do know that the Justice Department and the Attorney General has been upfront about this, is looking into the origins of the investigation that became the Mueller probe, they are not looking into treason as a possible charge. And that's for very obvious reasons. And part two, because they don't want to scare away people in the Justice Department who have a very hard and very honorable job of having to investigate people of power. That cannot be seen as treasonous. You want to continue to enable them to do that. So I would also think that that's an important point when the president starts to say no other president should go through this. That should not mean that no other president, regardless of what he has done in his past or any criminal behavior, should be immune from that. So I think the treason part can be cast aside, at least by people who are doing the real work at the Justice Department, Of course, what happens next with William Barr's investigation and how deep they go into declassifying some of that sensitive information remains to be seen. But this piece that the president keeps bringing up really should be dismissed. And as Peter Alexander points out, it's a serious crime, punishable by death.
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.